Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren, if you haven't been here before, and today I wanted to share my 2024 reading journal with you because it has been a labor of love, but I'm really happy with it. And I hope if you're looking at, doing a reading journal for next year, for 2024, it could give you a little bit of inspiration because I did a lot of research to get inspiration ideas for it, and I wanted to share them with you. So okay, so this is the journal that I got, and for some reason this year I decided to go really hard. So this is my 2023 reading journal. I started in June, but I made it track the whole year. And only from like September on, I did monthly wrap-ups, which I'll talk about more of. It was $7 or $8 from Target. Very simple, put a sticker on it. Had no plan, really. I had like no plan of what I wanted to do. It was like really good to prove to myself that I enjoyed having a reading journal, and I'm looking at it as another hobby. By doing this one, I was able to like tell myself like, okay, it's worth doing it, doing it. And so I'm also going to have pictures up here for you guys to see more close-ups, and then at the end of this whole video, I'll put a timestamp here so you can flip through it now if you want, with a whole video walkthrough, flip through of my reading journal. So let's just get started. So I started working on this journal back probably mid-October. I probably bought all the supplies for it in early October. They were all delivered middle of October, and then I started planning and getting like serious about it. And so now it is the end of December when I'm recording this. I've spent a lot of time on it, but also I have a full-time adult job, and the time when I could work on this was going to be limited because in my free time, especially weeknights when I get home from work or I'm done working from home, anything like that, I don't want to go sit in my office at a desk or, anything like that, because that's where I like to do it and work on it. And so it would be on the weekends or, when that type of stuff, when I had days off. And so that's when I would work on it. And I would say I probably spent maybe 20, 40 might be excessive, maybe 20. I spent a lot of time on this journal, and that's okay because it's a hobby. It's my life, and it's okay if that's what I want to do with it, It's okay. So anyway, so my journal is completely set up and ready to go on January 1st. I won't have to make the pages as I go. I mean, for some of them I will, but also I won't have to for most of them. That's kind of the plan. I just didn't find a pre-made journal that I liked enough. There was always like, I wouldn't use that, or I would do it differently. So it made more sense for me to make my own. But if you decide to buy a pre-made journal, totally cool. I have plenty of friends who buy the pre-made journals and they love them. And so one thing I can recommend is if you're gonna do a reading journal and you're gonna devote so much time to it, really slow down, plan it out, and really just don't rush it. If you really want it to be something you hold on for years, all that type of stuff, take the time and slow it down. That's always been a problem of mine, to slow down and make sure I'm very meticulous. By doing that and practicing that with this journal, it's made the project that much better. I've been very happy with it. So my inspiration mainly is from What's Bethany Reading. She has a really cool little, reading journal that she did for 2023. And I did take a lot of inspiration from that, but I did my own twist on some of this stuff. Some of the challenges that I normally wouldn't have done, but it would be fun to track, see, came from her. And then there's also a lot of other people that she then linked out to. And then, I also just did my own research on YouTube and whatnot. Some of the people that you'll see who do reading journals have journals that are like $50, $40. And that's a lot of money. I'm gonna tell you, I think I only spent $15 or $20 on this big, beautiful, sturdy, good paper journal on Amazon. I'll have everything kind of like linked out so you can go to it and see exactly what I got. They have lots of color options. I just liked this one for what I wanted. It has a little thingy and then it has 2 ribbons to mark your spots. I think it's really great for the price. I also wanted to talk about the rest of my supplies, and so what really helped me, because nobody talked about this, I have this whole big handy dandy cup, and it is my reading journaling cup. I have a clear ruler, and it just worked out where my dot's more aligned with centimeters on it, so that was like $1. I got a pencil sharpener, because what adult without children has pencil sharpeners? Like, you just don't. Also, pencils. I got the nice brand, whatever beautiful brand that is. And I would also suggest getting like some of those like eraser caps, you know, because I did a lot of erasing. But so pencils definitely was a big one. My favorite pen to use in my journals is this Sharpie pen. It's kind of like a felt tip situation. It's the one that I personally like. I write well with it. It looks nice. It's clear. It doesn't bleed. It did not bleed through this paper. It's the one I used. And then I got like, just like sticky dots situation. I have a couple of these different brands, whatever. And then I also have all of these combo pencils. I'm not an art person. I don't have markers laying around my house. And this was like their cottage collection. It's kind of cool. Some of the colors are a little bit too dark for me to use in this for what I used them for. But I think it was nice. And I liked that they have the fine and then the brush. I think it worked really, really well. It's the same collection that I got for my other journal, so I didn't have to buy these. And you know, they are good markers, but you can use whatever you want. It's your journal. Nobody's telling you the rules. But one part that I am kind of like splurging on, I'm getting an HP Sprocket like instant printer with sticky back paper for the book covers on certain areas. And so that is a little bit of a splurge. I think it's like $80 or something like that. I find, you know, like there's going to be value in that, because what I did for this one, I would put them all on a document, get the document, send it to Office Depot, get it printed on a paper. Then I would come home and I would cut them and then I'd glue stick them. And it just, I think, you know, like with the printer, it'll work better, because one of my like resolutions as like a reader is to like do the reviews fairly soon, like no longer than a week after I finished the book. So having that will also motivate me, I believe. Over here I have a grid layout. You can't see it because it's all in pencil, but it says in inches and centimeters. And then I also have a table of contents, and I'm not sure how often I'm going to be using that, but I have this whole section over here for book reviews, and I can fill in, you know, like book review 1 through 7, 8 through whatever suits my fancy. So that part is nice. My yearly stats page. This one's kind of just more for me. It doesn't really matter how many books I read, all that type of stuff. Overall, I'm just like curious, and I think seeing it all laid out like this month by month, broken down, is something really cool. And I've done it like on sheets in Excel for this year. There's something just a little bit more special about sitting down and planning it out for each, or writing it out for each one. I wanted to give a thank you, another thank you to What's Bethany Reading for helping me figure out this bracket. I didn't think doing a 12-month bracket would be so challenging, but it was. It was extremely challenging. So thank you to her for how she laid out hers, and that's how I laid out mine essentially. And then there's a spot in the middle for a full book cover. And then on this side, I have a like days that I finished books and what stars I gave them. So say I finished reading a book on like January 2nd, I'll like color in its little box with whatever star I gave it. And so I have like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that part's gonna be kind of cool. That part I think I also got from her. Maybe I got from somebody else. I thought it was a cute idea. Okay, the 100 books read reading challenge. And you'll see my sticky note here. I have sticky notes all throughout with the color swatch and the number of the marker that I use. I've written down like what colors and in what order I put them in. So I have 100, and so that's self-explanatory. Also, the alphabet challenge, very self-explanatory. Now I haven't done this one in the past, and I'm not gonna like push myself to do it. Like if I get it, cool. But so many of the books today they start with like a quart of the whatever. And so like if I get it, cool. But if I don't, I'm not heartbroken. I'm just curious to see like, did it? I haven't set the rules for myself either, so I don't know. Be made up as I go, honestly. My book club pick. So a brewery here in my town, Greensboro, started a book club every month, like the first Wednesday or second Wednesday, something like that. And we all read a book and then we go and talk about it, and it's half price wine Wednesdays, and it's just fun. And so I have a spot, because I did it in my 2023 journal, but a spot for the month, the book, and the stars I gave it. So the stars will go like right there, little stickers. They'll go right there, and you know, they all have different colors. It's just nice, I thought. I chilled out with my review system. I had like a whole Excel spreadsheet dedicated to it, and it was too much. Like I've simplified my review and spice. Because I'm reading more romance books lately, I want to be able to like tell people what I thought of it as honestly as I can. And my genre tracker shelf. But so essentially, as I read, there should be 100 books here if I counted correctly. And as I read, you know, different genres like romance, romantasy, thriller, horror, they'll be assigned like a different color, and I have coloring pencils to do this. So I'll put the title in the certain color. I'm not going to put it in like a certain order. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. And at the end of the year, hopefully I have a nice, beautiful bookshelf with all the different genres I've read. That part, I'm really excited about that one. I think I got that one from Bethany as well. Oh, the other really good thing about this journal is that the pages are numbered. So like you don't have to hand number them. So the table of contents makes a little bit more sense. And then I have my release radar. I want to show you some of the better ones. So my goal is to kind of like keep up more with the releases that I want to read. And so this is just a way for me to write down something if I see it, or, you know, like a book I'm really anticipating. There's The Fury coming out on January 16th. That's kind of the thinking behind it. And I also wrote like what colors I used. So that was pretty complicated to create, actually. I think I spent a lot of time on that one. We're on to kind of the more lists where it's more logs, essentially. So this first one I have, thank you to What's Bethany Reading for the library savings log that I've created, because so I'm including Kindle Unlimited and my library in this. And so not just ebooks, but physical books or audiobooks, and the price of whatever format that I saved on. So like Kindle Unlimited books, you know, and then there's a spot at the end of the year for me to put like my total savings. So I'm just curious. I'm not going to like push to read more Kindle Unlimited books or push to read more library books, but it's a cool feature. I thought, you know, as it comes, I'll do it. So since Kindle Rewards is like my jam, and they often have these like sprints or whatever, where you like within a certain time frame, like 5 days, if you spend $20, you get 300 extra reward points. And so that's $3 towards your next book, your next Kindle book. So that's really great. And so, but like when that happens, I don't want to just like kind of emotion buy and then never read the book. I have a want to buy section with the ebook and the print price, author, and title, and if I've bought it or not. And I'll probably also cross it out as well as a check mark. I have my TBR. My TBR is taking up a couple pages. This is just the rough one of what I've already filled out from Goodreads. and I've like kind of Marie Kondo'd my Goodreads. And would I find a lot of joy just from the synopsis or the cover? Would I find joy in reading this book? If no, I didn't add it. If yes, I did add it. And then also on the sides, you'll see I've put like $, an O, or a Kindle Unlimited. And so own is I own. Dollar is you either need to get it from the library or you need to buy the book. And so then it would be back on the want to buy page. That's just a way for me to like keep track overall. And then as I read them, I'll cross them out entirely. So I have 2 pages for that. And then I also have my reading log. And so essentially it's set up the same way that I set up my reading log for my 23. So I really liked how I had this one set up. The colors were really nice, and just seeing it in like a very clear format, it was just really nice. So the one difference that I did add was I put a place for me to put how many stars I gave the book, which is something when I was doing this one, it was lacking and I kind of regretted not putting in. So yeah, I have a couple pages for that. And that one kind of concludes the first part of this journal. Now it goes on to the monthly wrap-ups. And so it's probably a bit much, but I've gone ahead and done like all 12 of the months. I want to be able to sit down like at the beginning of the following month and look back at like what I've read and kind of like really reflect on that. And so I have added a spot to put the number of books and then the number of pages, books I've read, pages that I've read, a number of physical, ebook, or audio books that I've read, and then how many of those books came from the library in whatever format they came in. And then in the top, I have kind of my favorite quote that I read that month. And then I have a spot right beneath that for a mini book review. So like, what was the best book of the month? And for me, that's not the highest rated. It's more about like the best book was the most enjoyable one. I have a spot for that, for the cover, a quick little mini review, like 2 sentences, and then stars for it. After that, I have a genre tracker that'll probably be kind of like colored the same way, you know, like as the genre shelf. And then I have my favorite part, which is like where I can list what books I read that month. And so I can be like, oh, I finished this one. It was like my 4th book of the month. Yay! Something like that. I've been doing it for the last couple months in my current book journal, and it has been really fun to do, honestly. And I can always doodle or, you know, whatever. I have one of those for the entire year. That was really fun to write out. Finally, the book review section. And so I think I only have one full spread of these pages, but if you can see it, it has a spot for the book cover for me to get. It has a spot for the stars and then like a start and finish day. I'll have stickers to put like what number the book was, like number 53 or something. The major difference between this one is this whole big section for the review. I mean, if I'm gonna put in all that effort, I'm gonna want to review the book like actually, because right now that's currently what I have. It's like 3 or 4 sentences, maybe, if they're short sentences, and it's not very substantial. When you look back at the review, you go, oh yeah, I remember that. I'll be motivated to do the review pretty quickly after I finish the book. That's the goal. That's the end goal, essentially. I have the rest of the book, the rest of the journal to do the reviews or come up with a new section also, and I have space to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the flip through, but I wanted to close this all out and say thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this book journal and flip through and ideas that it might have given you, I would really appreciate it if you considered liking this video and or subscribing to my channel if you wanted more book content, anything adjacent to books or book reviews, anything like that. Consider subscribing. I would really, really appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I hope you now have some more ideas for your own reading journal. And if you have any suggestions for my reading journal, you know, for adding on or for the next year, if I do it next year, if you have suggestions for that, go ahead and send them in the comments below, and I'd be happy to see new ideas. There's so many options, and each reading journal is unique to each reader. which I think is just beautiful and special and just really makes this hobby all the more fun. Thank you so much for watching, and let's freaking do this, right? Let's freaking do this.